Hello. Okay. So again, my name is Mfamara. This is again the component or the research that we will be undertaking in Gambia, and this really focuses on improved waste management in our community fish landing sites, Banjul, Bakau, Tanje, and Sanya. They are not the only one, but they are the selected ones. So here, the question is really, or the interest here is understand people's willingness to pay for improved waste management for recreational, cultural, and non-use value of these areas. Okay, and there are about 5 sections in this survey. There are very short sections. Section 1 is really approaching people with respect. Introduce the survey, the purpose, and institutions that are affiliated with this research, and tell them that the information that they provide will be used for only statistical purpose and will not be used in any way to harm them. Okay, and tell them the estimated time the survey will take for them to complete, so that they agree or disagree to take the survey. So if they don't agree, you keep that questionnaire and end the survey. If they agree, then you move to the next section. The next section really is about what? Facts about this area. We know these are community fish landing sites. We know that hundreds of Gambians and non-Gambians visit there daily for various purposes, okay? We know that a lot of waste is generated around this area. So we need to know how can we improve that situation. So we'll ask questions about people's visitation level, like how often they visit this area for various reasons, what motivates them to visit this area, and when they visit this area, what are some of the activities, especially recreational activities, that they undertake while they are there. And in section 3, we are interested to know their perception about recreational and cultural ecosystem services. How important or beneficial do they think these cultural and recreational ecosystem services are to them, on a scale of 1 to 5. We also want to know their perception about global climate change. We want to know their perception about institutional trust and institutional responsibility, including that of the NEA, including the area councils, including the Gambia government itself as a whole. Their perception about waste and environmental quality services or improvement services. So what do they think about that? Recently, there were issues about tons of fish dead on the beach, Sanyang and Gunjur. And what do people think about this kind of thing? We need to study this, and we need to understand people's perception about waste. We also need to understand the issue of compensation. Will people be willing to accept compensation from people who are really damaging their environment or polluting their environment for various reasons? Or will they be willing to, in other words, as people put it, willing to make an offer or a payment to polluters so that they can stop pollution from a resource that their livelihood depends on? Then we go to section 4. Here we're looking at the scenario. Like I said, here the scenario is improved waste management. We have 2 scenarios. We have a baseline scenario, current scenario, that is the situation as it is today. Okay, we described that, we saw images and pictures of the area, and then we go to the improvement scenario. In the improvement scenario, we kind of have 2 major improvement scenarios here. We have one is where people are being asked to make cash payment for the area to be cleaned up. Okay, make cash payment to a cleanup program by the council, where council will ensure that the area is being cleaned regularly. Or we also, if people cannot make payment offers or cash payment, are they willing to provide labor to clean up this area? Are they willing to provide labor to go around and sensitize the community and beach users about cleanliness and how they can ensure that, even using radio programs? That will be a voluntary labor time to do that. Or are they willing to make cash payment, like I said, to institutions who are responsible to ensure that this area is clean for their usage? So here, because it's waste, and we know that our communities and people, there are financial constraints, budget constraints here and there, where our target here is about 75% waste reduction. So today, as it stands today, if we can minimize the waste to about 75%, that is our target in this, whether we are using cash or whether we are using people to go and do this cleanup. So then we ask the question, if it is either cash or kind that is labeled, what is the amount that people are willing to offer, or what is the time that people are willing to offer in the other scenario, which is asking about label. And then in the comparison here, we'll be able to use label and cash to see really are people willing to provide more labor for a cleanup waste program, or are they willing to provide cash? Like I said, the assumption here is that in my mind and in the minds of many scholars is that our people value the environment. That is what I believe. I think that our people value a clean environment, protected environment, a restored environment. I think that there is a lot of bias in the way studies have been used in the developing world context to really ask people to make cash and use that cash as an estimate for their value for environmental protection. I think because they are liquidity constrained, I think they don't have money, I don't think that they will make a big offer. So if it is time value, they might provide a little more time to do the cleaning and to ensure that the area is protected for their own. So, but again, the result of this research will determine whether that assumption or that hypothesis of mine, is confirmed to be true or otherwise. And then at the end of the day, like I said, we will use visual aid. We'll use pictures that will depict how the area would look like if it is cleaned up, and then people will know exactly what they are valuing. In section 5, like I said, here we're looking at the demographic and socio-economic condition of people who are participating in the survey. This data will be used only for statistical purpose as covariates in the regression model. And here we want to know who participated in the survey. Where do they live? What is their gender? How old are they? And what is their marital status? What do they have kids? Their employment status, their income level. So, we are interested in knowing these social determinants or factors or variables that could explain their variability in the model. The last section, we're really focusing on what? People's attitude towards the scenario. Do people think that they really understood the scenario that was presented to them by the interviewers? Or do they think that the project will have strong public support? Do they think that asking people for donation is a good way of making or implementing such projects? And finally, do they think that the survey as a whole is interesting or is boring or is not only is unnecessary and it is whatever? So they will tell us that. That is the last part of this video. And again, this video is trying to really support two assumptions here. The first assumption is that our people are less willing to pay for environmental improvement or protection. I am saying that the result of my study will state otherwise, that our people are willing to pay when they are asked to make labor time payment, to provide labor. But because of income and liquidity constraint, because of other basic needs to be met, people would be skeptical to make a lot of, to state a lot of cash offer for improvement projects. So therefore, the result of this study will determine really whether people in the Gambia less value improved waste management than it has been stated in other studies that use cash as a payment vehicle. Thank you very much, and I look forward to being a driver of this very important research